Knock it.
Okay, you're good. Okay, Kayla, you're good.
Okay. Hi, my name's Kayla. I had emailed Brian Hunt and Rhonda Evans on March 4th, was requesting a copy of the presentation that Rhonda was presenting tonight at the SHAC meeting. I wanted to review it to better know how to speak during public participation. I never did receive that. However, it has been brought to my attention by another parent that no parent input has gone into the new SCL or CLD curriculum, and that it's not available for parents to review at this time. Parents should always be the #1 source for character education, and it concerns me that parent input was not sought into the new character and leadership development program. And I just would like to see parent input made a priority in the near future.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I thought you wanted to speak.
No.
Okay. Is Kayla the only one?
Unless you want to sing.
Well, did you finish good?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm done.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you told me yes. I apologize.
I was just saying I was here.
Yes, ma'am. Got you. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. Okay, we're going to move to the wellness plan. Now, I've pulled it up here and I've sent it to everybody. We need to improve in some areas. We've had a few hiccups this year for not getting some of these goals accomplished, but we are working on those. Rhonda and I talked today and have talked in the past few weeks where we want to start looking at that, not only for the remainder of this year, but then also into the summer. It involves many different departments. We need a cafeteria and some other things, so we're going to be looking at those. I hope you've had time to read our wellness plan. I don't see anywhere we need to update everything. I still like our goals. We still need to keep working on them. Did anybody see anything that we need to change, add on the committee?
Hey Brian, when
Yes.
did you send that? I just didn't see it, so I was wondering.
When I sent it on the agenda, it was a link on there when I sent the agenda out. I'm going to share it with you.
Yeah, because I don't see the agenda either. I don't know why.
No, it's okay. I'll do it right now.
Thank you.
We'll meet again in May. Would be my recommendations. We've got to meet 4 times a year, so we could rediscuss this if everybody's good. Okay. Kayla, that's a viewer. I got you as a viewer, and it is in your email right now.
Okay, thank you.
Just anybody else see anything? So what I'll do, it sounds like we haven't had a chance to read it, so I will reshare that with everybody. I've got everybody's email addresses. All right, I can send you the link and you can pull that up and read it. Okay, good there? Okay, let's see here. Lauren Harrington, there it is. Is from the Texas Department of State Health Services. They usually come to our meetings and just make a short presentation about the services they offer. So I've asked them to come and do a short one for us today.
So, hi everyone, my name is Lauren Harrington. I am the program supervisor for the Texas Department of State Health Services Youth Behavioral Health Program. Our main focus is community health improvement with a concentration on youth behavioral health initiatives. So I'm going to apologize if some of this sounds a little redundant because I know Emma was with you all probably at the beginning of the year. Our main promotion right now is 988. The National Suicide Crisis Line has gotten a short code, which is phenomenal. 988 is so much quicker to remember, and we want that information to be widely known. We want it available for teens, we want it available for parents, we want it available for counselors. We just want people to know this information. I have some flyers here that do have that information on it. Y'all are free to take one.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is available 24/7, 365. We never want somebody to feel alone. That's the main focus. I do not personally do 988. I just promote their activities. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number that was previously established, which I believe is 273 talk maybe, does still work. It still is an active number. 988 can just be called, text, and you can even chat with it on an online feature. They have trained counselors that are there to help 24/7, 365. And they do link you to resources in your area if you do need them from a further standpoint. And that's all I have. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you need other resources, I'm also happy to serve as a resource.
Thank you. I know we had stickers, we had them made, we did have them made to put on the back of student ID badges that says call 988 if you're feeling like you need help. So we've handed those out, and I see some students wearing some IDs, I see some that do and some that don't, but we have made that information available.
Are these posted anywhere?
I have not, but that's a great idea.
I'm just thinking.
They could be posted in classrooms.
I can send you a PDF if you'd like it. There is both English and Spanish on that. We also have some more youth-friendly looking ones. I know that is very parent-driven looking. That we are planning on sending out. We're waiting on them to come back from our print shop right now. But we do have larger posters that can be placed in front offices and things like that that are going to go out district-wide. So everyone will get.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got my email, right?
Yes.
Just send me the PDF and I can send it out to, I'll send it out to the high school, middle school counselors.
I would even say the 6th grade campus.
And 6th grade, yes, thank you, good point. Yep, 6th grade, we can do that, and, that's a good point.
Probably.
Unfortunately.
I think it's a little, but well, Rhonda and I'll talk about it. I would think maybe 5th grade, maybe, that kind of, when I was elementary principal, we would have, something you'd have 2nd graders and 1st graders asking about it once they read, you could learn to read and use the posters, so it was always a difficult conversation.
So I work in the ER at Cook, and starting, I want to say it's 7, we're required to ask suicide questions.
Okay.
I've seen them under 10,
Okay.
unfortunately.
But it's the fact that the number of kids in the schools now that have cell phones and access to cyberbullying stuff is
I don't
increasing.
think it would hurt.
How many third graders?
I don't know what it is.
I'll send it, we'll send it to the counselors and let them make that call.
I can get that for sure, but I think we start at 8 now.
Really? Okay.
We used to be 13 when I started there, then went to 10, now we're at 8.
Gosh,
Terrible.
breaks my heart.
Starts a lot earlier than people.
So we'll send it to the counselors and we'll get that stuff done. If you'll send it to me, that'd be
Absolutely.
great. So,
I will send it tonight.
awesome. Any other questions for Lauren? Thank you for coming out. This is a good deal. They came out with, was it this summer, right?
Yes.
And at 988 come out, and like I said, we had the stickers made, so we've at least put it on the badges of our high school and middle school kids that have the, I think it's just, maybe it's just high school kids, no, middle school kids that have badges, so we've got a sticker on there that says call 988, but this is a great tool. Okay, good there. All right, Leslie Wilson, coordinator of our health services, is gonna make a presentation and talk about some program changes.
Hi, I'm Leslie, and I am the health services coordinator here for Godley. And basically, what I do is I oversee the school nurses as far as if they need any help with anything really. I can go from patients or students that need help to ordering medications that they need for their stock meds, like albuterol. So I'm a nurse practitioner and I'm able to order everything. I don't have to go. I'm considered, I guess, the medical consultant or director. And then I work with a physician who would need, if we need a physician rather than a nurse practitioner, she's happy to sign for whatever. But I'm able to order the albuterol, the EpiPens, and all the things based off my license and all of our stock medications. So that's super helpful for them. And then, so we have 6 school nurses, 1 at every campus. RB's Lori Wilson, Legacy's Amanda Ponce, Pleasant View's Tara Swinka. 6th grade campus is Katie Jokel, middle school is Samantha Gallagher, and then we have Stormy Cairo at the high school. And they all do a phenomenal job. The amount of growth that we've had and student influx that we're having, our acuity of our students, or the health acuity of our students is increasing. I mean, every campus, but Legacy has 1 to 2 to 3 even diabetics at their campus, not counting the thrombocytopenias, those kids bleed easily, epilepsy, many other health conditions, cortisol deficiency, all these things that have to be closely monitored in our children, along with food allergies and things like that, with the EpiPens and all that. So they are extremely busy girls, and they do a really great job keeping everything afloat. And we also have a telehealth program through Cook Children's. It's a virtual that we don't pay for. They give us their equipment and we get to use it, and we get to set up an appointment, and then the parents will register the students through the online service, or I guess we have a link online, and then they'll do, they have the otoscope with the camera, they have a stethoscope that has an audible technology, whatever, that sends the sounds over to the nurse practitioner that sees them via virtual platform that they have.
Do those parents have, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Do those parents have to have a insurance to be registered through 60?
They will see, I believe, anybody, Medicaid
Okay.
or insurance or
Okay.
even self-pay.
Okay.
Yes, and they handle all the billing and everything on their end.
Okay.
They are pretty time consuming, so our nurses do their best on being able to offer those
Okay.
visits.
When they do that, it's
to the
great.
parents.
My kids have had it.
Really?
Mhm.
Good, good.
I have a question as well. I believe the answer is yes, but parents have to opt in to that,
Mhm.
correct? Okay.
Yes, online I believe there's a link that you press on to be able to do that. And that's really about it for our nurses. My goal in the future would be to have a float nurse that would be able to help with all the things with nurses that are out or these telehealth visits that are super duper time consuming for these nurses, and they have all these kids coming in with all the other things. Because not only is it just like time and then gets busy in the clinic, but you have a HIPAA issue as well because you can't have a visit with other kids in the clinic. So, privacy is a huge deal for our kiddos with their health problems. So that's my future, and they would just help with vaccine compliance because that in itself is a big job.
Any questions for Leslie? Okay, thank you. And Leslie and I stay in contact if she's not here.
I've got one question. Y'all have a Lions Club in Godley ISD? Okay.
Yes.
I think they meet at the Chisholm's.
And the Chisholm's right in town.
Yeah, they're
So is that where y'all use for your glasses and stuff?
We used to, yes, but now this last time I went through, it's the VSP Vision
Yes.
Exchange or whatever, and I was able to choose one through another. That was able to give me 25 gift certificates. So,
Is that enough?
well, they're only good for 6 months, so generally this is the second
Okay.
time I had to do it this
Okay.
year. So.
Okay.
Well, Leslie and I stay in contact with each other, so if I'll ever, and we're both on email obviously, but she does a good job of responding and
Thank
getting
you.
what we need quickly.
Thank you.
Does a good
Yes,
job.
I work remotely, so I work at a pediatrician's clinic during the week, so I'm a remote worker.
Oh, yeah. I'm an ex-school nurse, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, if you need a sub job, let us know.
I retired at the end of my COVID thing, so
Oh, yeah.
40 years, there you go.
Wow, that's awesome.
So thank you, Leslie. All right, Christina Howard is here. Lacey couldn't make it today, so Christina's just gonna talk about food services and what's going on with them.
Okay, so sorry, my voice is crazy. We do the child nutrition department. We're a national school lunch program. We have actually fed 3,500 students this year. That is an average of 572 breakfast and 1548 lunches. So they're all healthy. We even eat like the smart snacks. I don't know if y'all's kids ask for money, but they're all nutritional. So that is good. We're going to be doing free food again for the summer. Breakfast and lunch for all students in the district 18 and under. So obviously if you have a 20 or 21-year-old in the school, we're going to provide for them too. But that's going to start May 30th through June 28th. So make sure y'all tell everyone because a lot of kids at home don't get food. So
Is there a central location that will be done?
yes, Legacy this year.
Okay.
Yep. But they have to come in and eat it. We're not doing the grab and go anymore.
Make sure to get with Jeff Metter, who's our communications guy, and get that word out.
Okay, I think he knows.
Does it? Okay, good. Yeah, he's very good at that. Good.
When you say they have to come in and eat, so what if they don't have services to get there? That's just something that, what are you saying was grab and go?
Well, when COVID happened, we did grab and go, but
Okay.
the state stopped that and said that the students had to be present. Because I
Okay.
guess some people were going from one school to the Joshua and then that, and they were just getting food. And so the state kind of stopped
People
that.
run
when
it
they
for
had
the
to
whole
come.
lot.
So they serve breakfast from a certain time. I don't have those details on the
Okay.
hours yet. But we do usually from like 7 to 8, and then lunch is usually from 11 to 1.
Okay.
So you're asking if the kiddo can't make it here?
Yeah, just what do we do for those kiddos? Because usually the ones that don't have food don't have
Don't have a
transportation.
car.
That goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I can ask that. We have a
I guess it's the best we can do.
like a cabinet meeting tomorrow, I can at least ask and see what the district's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult thing to, to get somebody to transport them, so I get it's a hard thing, but just curious.
And also, does the district have communication with the food pantry at First Baptist Church? Because I do know that they, during the summer, do backpack.
I've seen their signs as I'm driving, but I don't think we've officially.
So if the school district doesn't have something, maybe you could reach out to them if there's students that need that, because the church does provide those.
That's true. Do you know if they provide transportation to their pantry back and forth?
I'm not sure if they do deliveries or not, but that would be something to look into.
Because if they transported people, I wonder if they wouldn't mind picking up a few kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, go by and pick up.
Yeah,
kids
I don't know if they
them.
deliver them to homes or what, but I do know that that's a service that they do.
But I need to reach out for them anyway for an MOU, so I'll be glad to do that. Thank you for the
You're
idea.
welcome.
Got it. Okay, talk about, can't go into the audit. We talked about the audit last year, but
Yes,
canceled.
we're having an audit again next year.
But it was supposed to be now, right? It's got canceled.
February 23rd, I believe it was. It got canceled, so we're doing it again next year. So it's just the same thing, making sure the kids are getting their components, to make sure they have to get an entree, and they get a choice between 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. They can take it all if they want. They can take a milk with it. It's just hard to get those kids to take this stuff sometimes. So.
Maybe you want to take it home too.
I'm covering sugar.
My kid takes extra when he's home.
Any questions for Christine? We good? Okay, thank you. Thanks for doing that. Rhonda Evans is our Character and Leadership Development Coordinator, is going to make a presentation.
Okay, Brian told me I only have 5 minutes. So I'm going to see what I can do in 5 minutes, because I like to overshare, so I'm guilty of oversharing. So the first week of February was National School Counselor Week, and the first week of March was National Social Workers Week. So I thought, what a great time to let you know about what our counselors and social workers do in the district. We have 6 counselors in the district, and we have 2 social workers. I'm a licensed social worker, and then Danelle, who works at the 6th grade center and also works with the alternative school, is also a social worker. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what the roles of counselors are. And so I brought a few notes just because I didn't want to leave any of the really important stuff out. There's basically 2 models that counselors follow, if you will. There's the ASCA model, which is the American School Counselor Association model, and then there's also the Texas model. So the ASCA model is a national model. So all of the school counselors in the country, in the United States, follow that model. But then when you get to the individual states, they also have their own models. So we're following, obviously, the Texas model. The ASCA model has guidance counselors developing their programs that are based on data. They're delivered to students systematically. They include developmentally appropriate curriculum that addresses behavioral aspects as well as post-secondary readiness and success. They focus on closing the achievement and opportunity gaps. And then they also look at results that focus towards improved school achievement, attendance, discipline, things like that. So the Texas model is a little bit, I feel like a little bit more specific. So I feel like the ASCA model is a very foundational kind of setting, and then Texas gets in there and tells them specifically, these are the standards that we want you to meet. We have TEKs for more counselors. So they get a little more into the nitty-gritty of what they're expecting the counselors to do. Based on that, the counselors are expected to design their programs to include guidance curriculum. They have to have responsive services, so responding in crisis situations. They're also responsible for the individual planning system in the school, for career, educational, personal, social development of students. And then they're also required to have a system of support where they're supporting the efforts of the teachers, the district as well, any district kind of initiatives that are established. And they're also required to support the community, and then also the social development of students. trying to make sure, I don't want to miss anything really important. Our counselors do such amazing things that it's like, I just want to be able to give them, and Wendy is one of them, and you know, a lot of times my experience with the counseling, here in this district has been that I've helped them when they have students who are experiencing suicidal ideations. So we want to sit down and talk to the student and see, you know, how severe those ideations are. We want to contact the parents, have the parents come in and have immediate involvement in what's going on with the student, giving them our recommendation for, you know, we think this is really a serious issue and it needs to be taken, you know, take your child to the emergency room. We highly recommend that. You know, we don't want to leave them at school if they're having suicidal ideations. So that's sort of the process that I'm working with the counselors on, and trying to stay really focused and tuned in on that this year. We've also used some title money so that we could purchase a program that's called the Hope Squad. And so they are coming in and they're training our high school and middle school counselors. They are training the students. The students are selected by their peers to be, I want to call them, I don't know what the exact term is that we use when we talk about them, but they're a member of the squad, and their job really is to talk to their peers, and when peers are concerned and feel anxious or they know someone who's having an issue, they come to them and they let them know what's going on. From there, those students are trained to take those kids to the right people. So they take them to Wendy, or they take them to the principal, or Wendy calls me. You know, so the students are the ones that are really having that contact, and what we found out with kids is that they're more than likely to tell their friends first if they're experiencing something that's stressful or traumatic before they'll go to a counselor or before they'll go to a teacher. So because those kids kind of have that boots on the ground experience, this Hope Squad is training them to know what to do when their friend comes to them and tells them this information. I feel suicidal, or I have a friend who feels suicidal, or I heard on social media this person posted this. So these kids are really getting a special training so that they know how to handle that. We also have teacher advisors that volunteer on the campuses. So it's not just these kids in there doing this hard work. Yeah, Alice? Yes. And so we have teachers who are volunteering, and they're getting that very intensive training as well so that they know what to do. But ultimately, those kids are being sent to the counselor. So teachers aren't becoming counselors. They're just that conduit to get those kids to the right place. So that's what Hope Squad is, and we're really working very hard on that this year. Kids have been trained, parents have been in a training or been invited to a training to be informed. We have our advisors, so now the kids are really getting their training now, right? Is that the folks that we're at right now? I believe that's in progress.
Yeah, our students just got trained right before spring break. So.
Yes, yes. So hopefully we don't have to use them, right? That would be the ultimate goal, but having them trained is the proper thing to do. If those heavy kinds of subjects are coming to them, we want them to know what to do when that happens. The other thing I wanted to say is that counselors have 10 domains and 10 areas that they're really responsible for. So they're not just, back in the day, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've always been well, I shouldn't say always, I was a counselor for 10 years, but I basically have started always as a school social worker. A little bit different requirements. We have to have a license, and counselors do not have to have a license. But what I wanted you to know is there's these 10 areas that they've got to be focusing on and they're rated on it when they're visited by their principal. The principal comes in and says, you know, we're going to meet and we're going to talk about your progress, and we want to make sure you have these areas covered. So one of them is program management domain. So that's where they're talking about their guidance and their responsive services. One is guidance domain, so they're assisting the students with their career planning, their academics, how are they doing academically, are they falling behind, and they also talk about their social growth in that domain. There's a counseling domain, and that's where they're creating interventions for students. There's a consultation domain, So that is the area where they're meeting with teachers, talking about students that need additional services, additional supports. They're meeting with principals, they're meeting with assistant principals, they're meeting with parents, they're in consultation. The coordination domain is where they're providing resources home to parents, or they're going out for the district to get resources and bringing those back in. There's the student assessment domain. We all know what that is. That's where they're keeping track of the progress as far as testing goes. There's a leadership domain, so they're expected to apply their leadership skills. They're expected to also do self-train, go and go to conferences and make sure that they're getting proper professional development. I didn't mean self-train, I meant self-directed. There's an advocacy domain. So not only are they working with these kids, but they're also advocating for them. So they're going to IEP meetings and 504 meetings, and they're advocating for the needs that these kids have. There's a professional behavior domain, so they're expected to perform within a professional manner. They have a code of ethics that they're expected to perform. And then finally, they have a professional standards domain, and that means that they've got to adhere to all the state, federal, district, campus, board, all of those expectations, and also make sure that the kids their lessons that they're providing to the kids are meeting the teeth. There's a lot that counselors do. And so I just want to, I mean, you're here, and I want to praise you for all that you do. I've been there, and I know, and I just want everyone to know kind of what their progress is and what they do here. So thank you, Wendy.
Yes, thank you. Any questions for Rhonda about council?
That was probably more than 5 minutes.
That's
but
all
like
right.
I said, I get excited and want to share.
Okay, good. All right, this next piece, we talked about this at the last one. Right now, I have not read it lately, but at the first of the year, there was gonna be a new health curriculum that we had to adopt. And so I was a principal for a long time, and every time I got a new curriculum, I got samples. Textbook companies were hounding me. They want our business. I hadn't heard a squat. I mean, I've heard nothing. Talked to Ashley Blue, who teaches health at 8th grade. Does a great job with the curriculum. Hits all the teaks. It's just not updated. And so what I wanted to do is for the SHAC committee to develop just kind of a list of, I hate to say screening questions, but screening questions that if I do start to get that, if it doesn't meet what we think should be in a health curriculum, I don't want to waste your time. Does that make sense? So if I get something and I ask these questions to these reps and they go, and they don't meet our standard, I don't want to waste your time. You know what I mean? So I would rather bring something to the committee and say, hey, these guys have answered everything. What do you think? And we look at it and ask questions and that kind of thing. But I wanted to create those questions as a group. Does that make sense to everybody? Guys, I may get nothing. If we do, we're going to keep chugging along as we're doing. Like I said, she's done a great job. She meets all the teaks, the curriculum, she likes it and just hammers it at the 8th grade. They take it 8th grade once. They split it with speech.
With that careers.
Careers, that's it. So they split it with careers, so they take it one semester. So
is there any way we could get, I'm just a community member, a copy of what the teaks are, so that
yeah, if you wanted to Google that, we have actually a copy of, we have copies of the curriculum if you ever want to see it. But yeah, it's just Google Health Teaks.
Okay.
And that should be there. If you can't find that, I'll give you my email and just reach out to me and I'll get you something.
You should be able to just go to TEA and type in health teaks and pull it up for
it. Should do that. But we hit all those. I think the curriculum may be off on 1 or 2, but she supplements that with other things. But I mean, she just does.
That gives me more of a what we need to have.
Yeah, Coach Blue does a great job.
Okay.
Okay. So if everybody's okay, I don't know. What do y'all think? 5 questions that I can ask these textbook companies. 10, 7. What do y'all think? And I'll be glad to. What I don't want is to waste your time with something that we know we don't want. So I just need a screener from our committee to say, if it doesn't meet this criteria, don't bring it to us. If we have to adopt a new health curriculum, the recommendation comes from this committee, and then we recommend it to the board of trustees. They could disagree with us, they could agree with us, but, you know, we would make that recommendation. I just don't wanna waste your time if I bring something that,
So you say if we have to, so what's
Yes.
the requirement, or how do we know when?
I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that
Okay.
question. I honestly don't.
Isn't it usually like every couple of years, the district usually gets a new adoption? I thought it had something to do with the state and funding.
Yeah, it
and
depends
stuff
on
like
the
that.
state, and I kept hearing rumors and things at the first of the year, hey, you're gonna have to adopt a new one.
Okay,
And I have seen nothing
so there
but,
will be a state mandate when or if, maybe.
you would hope
If
so.
we're supposed to do one,
Yes.
that's where it's coming from. It's from the
Exactly.
state, not the district.
Yes, it's
Do
from
they
the state.
normally change the teaks when they do that, or,
I
tweak them, so to
believe
speak?
so.
Yeah, usually
Okay.
that's when you adopt, is
Yeah,
they
I mean-
change the.
I mean, that's
teeth
what I
and
thought. I
the
didn't
follow.
So what they do it, and I think I don't know, I think they've redone them, but I'm just not gonna go and I'm not gonna go find a problem.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So a big proponent right now is, a lot of the, in elementary, a lot of the health teachers were tied to science. So they're now looking at separating, because I know I'm the, science curriculum coordinator for my
Okay.
district.
Okay.
So we're looking, since we're adopting the new science teachers in 24-25, they rolled up. They're looking at what are we gonna do with those health teachers that were embedded.
I got it.
Are they updating them? So
okay.
it's-
So have you heard anything? Am I off?
No, we're still, because we were looking last year, we, had our committee, we had the health,
Sure.
and then it was just put on hold because
Okay.
we had gotten no new updates.
So
We
my-
looked at textbooks, we looked at the curriculum,
Okay.
but there was nothing we could move forward with at the time because.
Okay,
Because
so I'm not,
it's
I'm not off my rock, okay. So this
Okay.
is what I hate to say fear, but I'm just, by the time May gets here, then they're gonna flood us. And then, we're at the May meeting and I got 10,000 curriculums here, and we all have to make a decision, you know. Obviously, we would, have another meeting in the summer or something like that, but if I can have a screener, I don't know if that's strange or not, but a screener to go, hey, this doesn't meet it, this is out, this doesn't meet, oh, this one does, and I can bring those to y'all. Does that make sense? But I wanted to get what questions y'all want me to ask these health textbook companies, if and when. And then plus we could, keep them, if it does happen next year, we've got a set of questions, we could revisit those set and say, hey, do we like these, do we wanna change them? That kind of thing. Does that make sense? So what questions do y'all, so I've got a rep on the phone or email, tell me what question you want me to ask the
So
head.
is their curriculum available electronically as well, digitally as well as, paperback, hardback, depending? Are there resources, if purchased, are they free access to teachers? Like, we don't have to buy the paper, if we can download them, the PDFs
Okay.
ourselves, print and copy.
Okay.
Cause that saves a big buck, without having to make dual purchase of paper and digital. It's all digital, and they're gonna let the school have free rent on the PDF to download and print and make like one copy per classroom instead of having to
Got it.
buy all
So
that.
can teachers have access to?
The digital, like if there's
Digital.
if there's digital,
Supplemental stuff.
that anything that we don't have to, the district does not have to purchase is an additional cost.
Do we have to purchase, that'll be kind of a three questions in one, do we have to purchase anything extra?
One
Right.
bullet point.
A bullet point. The cost between digital versus print, if you purchase both, is there different things like that?
Got it? Okay.
So that-
Since they're supposed to be following the Texas teaks, I mean, that's what we follow in Texas.
Mhm.
This is just my personal opinion on some other curriculums we have. I have not loved curriculums that came from other states per se. I felt like it just didn't follow, I guess, I don't know if it would be our.
Just say teach alignment.
Yeah, I mean,
Alignment
teaks,
to Texas teach.
teaks alignment definitely is important, like that's, I guess, what I'm asking.
Well, I think the problem when they come from other states is some of them use Common Core, some of them don't use Common Core, so that's part of the misalignment, I think.
How about this, has the curriculum been aligned to the, put to these,
Texas.
to the Texas teaks, was it developed in Texas? Good there?
Where was it developed, yeah?
Is there curriculum available in multiple languages?
Okay, that'll be a good question number 3, it's a good one.
And if so, what are those languages? And if not, when do they look at?
Okay, good kinda just talking to everybody, I'll kinda get a feel and say, this one's out, or if everybody's good with that, I'll just kinda go and say, hey, well, the way we talked. Alright, so what else? That's 3 questions. What other questions do you want me to ask a health textbook company if we want this in the district?
What are the requirements for adoption? Is it a 1-year adoption? Is it a multi? And what are the fees associated? Is there a discount if they are multi-year?
You should ask that.
Subcommittee head on this, I think she's got it covered.
This curriculum, say that one more time, can we adopt this curriculum?
Is it a 1 year, is there a, is it a multi-year adoption? And the cost associated, yeah, is there a discount on the cost associated, district cost?
I just put, can we adopt this curriculum for multiple years? If so, is there a cost break?
And then the last is, I don't know if Godley uses ClassLink or anything to upload the kids, like if it's an online, what tech support, what are the requirements for tech support?
Yeah, because it can mess up the district if it's.
I don't know if they use, would they use Hello ID or they have ClassLink or?
Hello ID, I think is what it is.
We
used to have that.
Did you get rid of that?
Last year, yeah.
Okay. What's tying it all together now that they?
It's kind of like if you have an online resource, like our science curriculum, we can only look at people that are associated that we can upload, because our tech department has to upload all the kids.
Got it.
So that the teachers will then have access on their dashboard.
That's a big, that's a big.
So there's nothing that the, like the little kids, you know, you can swipe your badge and open your Hello ID and have all your accounts that you can access.
All your apps.
They do have their stuff in one place, but I don't know what it's
I'm not sure what it's called. I think they do one place, but I'm not sure what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different programs, I know.
Yeah.
We use
I wouldn't be
Hello ID.
surprised to hear if they went to something else, but I'd be shocked if they didn't have that stuff
Sure.
for the little kids.
Yeah,
Like
no.
it's a quick,
Makes
easy
sense.
access.
So I just put, what are the requirements for tech support? Can this be uploaded to one central site or location? Fair enough?
And now, like, yeah.
Got it? And I'll put that. Okay, what else?
I was just kind of looking at the teaks over here on my
Yeah.
phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it does look like for some of the older grades there is a kind of a sex ed component.
Okay,
So my question there would be to make sure that it's abstinent based,
okay.
because I know that is the Texas law that sex ed be abstinence based. And then it looks like there's also mental health and character development in there. So just making sure that they're using terms equality versus equity.
Say that one more time, Kim.
For the character and social emotional learning, just making sure that they're using the term equality versus equity. And then the other thing I had noticed is there is like a gender component too with male and female, making sure that there's not any gender confusion or any transgender education.
Okay.
Second that. And then, I've just got a question that kind of, I know there's probably some transgender children in our district. How is that handled bathroom and locker room wise?
We follow state law, and that's, we should have signed at birth.
Okay,
That's what our state
I
law
didn't
says.
know that, and I just wanted to know that because I think that's very important.
Yeah, I believe that's state law.
And I think
I think so.
most of your people in Godley would kind of.
Yeah. I don't know if it's state law, but it's what we follow.
I do know the federal government was trying to pass Title IV, but Ken Paxton blocked it for the state of Texas.
Okay,
So it is required to use their gender at birth for the restrooms.
which is a lot.
So,
And I have heard from
But
a
it is a
principal.
district decision on whether the campus wanted, like, go to the nurse's bathroom, is that big of an issue, like they set up?
Yes, I
things
did
like
hear
that.
from
But it's
the
like a district by
elementary.
district decision
there you
on
go.
what the principal recommends to their campus.
Yeah, and I've had that at my own campus before I retired was a child that, anyway. But we did nurse's office and we had another option for that child, but it was not,
Yeah, the elementary
it's
principal.
not a mix, like with the other kids, you know what I'm saying? So.
Miss Block did say that they do the nurse's office for those students. that don't feel comfortable.
So you gave 3 questions, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I got them. Is this program abstinent-based for sexual education?
Mhm.
Are you using the term equality and not equity?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any transgender components to this curriculum? If so, what does that look like?
Yeah, and I'd also probably add with the transgender, any gender confusion.
I'll make that a separate question.
What pronouns do they use?
Unfortunately, we have to ask those questions.
That's why I'm asking.
I agree.
Okay. So I just put, are there any gender confusing terms in this curriculum?
Yeah.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Good? Okay. So I'm not turning around completely, but I'm doing 2 things.
No, you're good.
What else? That's 9. I want 10, 11, 55, whatever the committee wants.
I do like what she brought up about it being a Texas-based curriculum, because I have also seen that be an issue, because we're Texas and we're not like Utah, and some curriculums that come from Utah have some things that we don't necessarily agree with.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I do think Texas curriculum would be a good one.
I got that as number 2. What else? That's 9 so far. Everybody good there? Add anything? Take anything away?
I feel like that's a pretty good beginning, and then if we get like curriculum examples to look through, and, I mean, that's, I guess, maybe the 10th question, you know, like, what are we gonna get to preview? Do we get the full?
Just say curriculum samples.
Yeah, but a curriculum sample is, you know, a chapter from this grade and a chapter from that grade, or is it a full?
Get the book.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been in districts, if they want your business bad enough, they'll show up.
Well, that's my point, if they want the money, then
We had one when I was elementary principal. They wouldn't come. I was like, we're just not gonna adopt it. Well, I got somebody else to sign up with me. They're not gonna adopt it either. So they showed up, and they showed up to both campuses, and they did a full presentation of everything.
Yeah.
But they were just gonna send us samples, but we kind of played hardball. But they came and we adopted it. But,
well, I think it's important that we're able to see,
Yeah.
you know, because you can see a snippet of something and think it's okay, and then.
Yeah.
So where are we going to get to preview this curriculum? Good there? And if they say just a sample, and I'll say, that's not good enough, we need more, can you give that to me? No, see you later, or throw it in the trash.
Yeah, and I think definitely multi-grade, you know what I mean, like we wanna see a range of.
Agreed.
Alright, good there? So have you heard anything, are they really pushing this next year, or are they gonna try to hammer it the rest of the year? Who knows?
We'll know when
they
after
do
they make
something.
a decision.
I was gonna say.
I think the hard part is because right now we're so focused on the science. And, you know, we said, okay, well, this health bill came last year, cause we had the whole committee.
Yeah.
We vetted resources or curriculum, and then it was like, oh, never mind, we're gonna be in a standstill, so TA lets us know.
Yeah, so.
That's kind of where y'all always are.
Oh, yeah.
TEA rules.
That's right. Well, and that's what I want this in case it starts to come in, and that way I'm not bugging you guys every 10 seconds with an email. I can use this as a screener and say, that's not gonna fly, that not gonna be like this. Good deal?
Right, I
think
have
if
one
we
more
don't-
question that you
Yeah.
should consider. You
Okay.
want it to be evidence informed. Like, you want something backing your curriculum. You don't just want it to be the newest, greatest thing that they've thought up out of nowhere. You want it backed with some kind of evidence.
Yeah.
And they should be able to provide that evidence to you.
Is this evidence? Tell me how to
Informed.
put that in.
Evidence-based curriculum.
Evidence-based, evidence informed. Some people don't like the term based.
Oh, really?
It's been a thing. So I've learned to change my language to evidence-informed curriculum.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Change our words very carefully.
Thank you, we take all that we
We'll
can.
take that one out of the
Is
dictionary.
this evidence curriculum? Yeah.
So
Evidence-based / evidence-informed, same
Evidence.
concept.
The
They're offended by the word, then we don't want their
Let's say that.
Let's just go with that.
The state, no,
I'll
it's
be
not
sure
gonna
to
be,
say.
oh, we just push it out. They give you time to shop for the adoption. So it's not gonna, I mean, it's good to have these questions, cause you don't wanna shop early and then it'll be another year down the road and we're gonna have to wait for updated,
Dictates or different and all
updated
that stuff,
information. So
yeah.
it's a rollout, like this year we are we start shopping the 23-24 school year for science adoption stuff, and then the teachers roll up 24-25. So it's.
Yeah, if it
once-
starts to come in, like we'll work on this next year. Like I said, I'm just fearful they're gonna try to shove it down before May, because we heard so much rumbling at the first. I
imagine
Got it,
the
yeah.
people that do the textbooks have got a lot of that too.
So I put, is this curriculum evidence informed? Is it good
And we
there?
haven't had it work for Region 11 either, so I don't think it's been pushed. I know what will probably happen.
I don't think so either, but
They're gonna still be testing this whole new Star Online
Yes.
statewide. with
yeah.
all these districts.
And they're trying to take over Houston ISD, so good
Yeah.
luck to them.
Oh,
Region
well,
11?
that,
Well,
okay,
they
well,
are,
teachers-
they're trying, they
Taking
are.
over
taking
They
over.
are.
Yeah, they are taking over
They are
Houston
taking
ISD.
over.
What does that even mean?
That means they
That's a
dismiss
big-
the
They
board.
put
They're
their
doing so
superintendent, their school
Everything,
board.
they
Yeah.
put
Well,
people
he
in
gave us
there.
the
Superintendents.
superintendent, I think.
They put people
Put
in
on
there.
leave, or
Yeah.
did they,
Yeah, they're bringing in their own.
and then they have a board of managers, and,
Yeah.
it's, taking over
It's,
Houston.
wow.
So TA's not in their hands.
I mean,
They're
with
probably
a
watching,
small district,
either.
It's a big crazy.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Wow.
Okay, everybody good? I've got 11 questions.
Yeah.
So I'll use these as a screener. I get stuff or talk to reps. This is exactly what I'll do, and I'll try to bring you everything that kind of meets what we talked about. I have a good idea and a good sense of what we would make a recommendation to the board of trustees in the Godley district. Okay, good deal. Okay, fitnessgram update. I'll be fast. Fitnessgram is the test, the fitness that students have to do every year. I got that out last year. I started the job in March, and I got that in May. I'll go on their website, and they'll put everything that the students have to do. We'll upload kids. The coaches will test them. I think they start at the end of April, 1st of May. We try to get that done before the craziness in May. And so I will get that hopefully to the coaches by the end of April, and they will start getting those kids tested. I have to send that in June. Does not have student. I think it just has their ID number. I don't think it has their name, and that's it. And then I think it's gender and ID. I think, and then it has up at the top. It has all the things they had to do and what their measurement was. So how fast they ran something and that kind of thing. So that's coming up. So I'll get that to coaches. So Fitnessgram's pretty simple, but it's simple, but it just takes
Time consuming for those two too. Yeah.
Any questions about Fitnessgram? That I pretty much hit them. That's the bulk of it. So it was my first. I was like, oh man, I gotta get this out. So, okay, let's look at. We need to meet in May or April, whichever one y'all want. We need to meet for a fourth time, and then I'll send out the wellness plan. I'll reach out to the Baptist church to see if I think, Kayla, what I may do is just call them and make sure it's okay if I send their information out to our counselors, just so they'll know if the kid's they need something. I'll look into the transportation. I'll ask at cabinet meeting.
You almost wonder if they could do it kind of like they do with Christmas and like needy gifts,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Things like that, like
Maybe
teachers
transportation.
submit, so they already know the kids
Yeah.
that need, you
To
know.
be picked up. That's a good idea.
Or even if they don't get picked up, which I guess it wouldn't work, because I was gonna say, you can't deliver the food to them unless it comes from the food bank.
Yeah.
But they could take food bags, like the backpacks of,
Well, I'm thinking if
perishables, but-
we might be able to, drop kids off. Or we're gonna pick you up, you eat, and everybody eat at the same time, and then we get everybody back to us. But I'll look into that. That's a good idea. I can at least look into it and see if it's feasible. I can talk to Dana Smith and see what we do. Okay. So how's everybody look? Do you want to do April? You want to do May? I am game for whatever you want to do.
I'll just go ahead and reference my tax season.
Yes, your tax. May.
The 18th is actually tax day.
18th is out.
After that, I'm good.
Everybody good with May?
Sure.
May? What day in May would y'all like to do?
Any day but Wednesdays.
Okay, let's eliminate Wednesdays. Anybody else
Why
want
don't you-
to do the 8th?
I don't know, I'm just throwing out a
Nope,
random
that's
date,
okay.
or the
How's-
15th.
How's the
18th
8th?
is better.
Monday the 8th.
Wednesday's
Me too, I realize I have baseball.
Yeah, I can't come to
How does there's a high school band concert that night on the 15th, but I don't know if that affects anybody in here or.
Mondays are hard for me,
No,
my
he's
department
looking at
meetings go till.
Oh, we are looking at
Okay.
My department meetings go till 4:30, I'm at work,
Okay.
so 4:30 or 5, so
Okay.
we have one every Monday. So if I'm here, I'm just gonna be late.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're glad you're here. So is the 15th work for everybody, 5:30? There's also a Godley Lady Cat Youth Volleyball Camp. Didn't know if they had that big thing making. 15th,
Mhm.
5:30.
Could, but we'll divide and conquer.
Yeah, there you go. 15th, 5:30. Everybody's good? Same bat place, same bat time? For you young ones in the room, that was So we'll do 5:30 here, and I'll get an agenda sent out, and I'll do those things. And I'll hopefully have some answers for the delivery. And then if I get any textbook things, I'll use that and screen and bring anything that comes my way.
Just for reference on, it's review the wellness plan, and what are we doing with that? I mean, I have it printed,
Yeah.
I looked at it, scanned it, but I'm like,
Yeah, we sent it out, and yeah, it's an area where we need to pick it up a little bit and implement some of those goals. That way that we just haven't had a chance to get to it, but we developed those goals last year. We just gotta do a better job of getting them implemented in.
Well, it's pretty up to date, we just need
It's
to
up to,
implement
just
that.
gotta get it implemented, yeah, finding the resources to do some of that stuff, and most of it's time, just finding the time
okay.
to get that to campuses and, get that done and get it documented too, that we're meeting those goals. So, but we send it out every year to go. When I change anything, keep going. I like our wellness plan, I think we did a good job of developing it, we just gotta do a better job of implementing it. It's an area of improvement for us. Did I answer that? Just a good.
Yeah, just basically, I was just thinking, when we're supposed to review it,
Yeah,
you
what
know
do
what I
you
mean,
review?
like,
Yeah.
are we changing it?
No, and I like to throw it out there and go, what do y'all think? You know,
Okay.
what do you think? Go ahead. Good, did you say the 15th is good for you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Everybody's good? All right, 15th, any other
May 15th at 5:30?
5:30? Anything else? Thank y'all for coming, y'all have a great night. Be safe driving home. Y'all email me if you need anything. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
So what do you do?
That's on there, but the email is there,
Yeah.
it's 5:30.
It's very good.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming, this is great, we'll, send that to me and I'll get the counselors on it, we can get it, I like the idea of trying to get it to all the elementary students, we'll send it out, let them, tell them to get it. You're welcome back, we just shouldn't have y'all here for them. Y'all got it? You had a good input there? We'll take anything. You're welcome anytime.
Sounds great. Thanks, Brian. I
You're welcome,
appreciate
it's good meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell Emma, you said hello.
Absolutely.
She's doing okay? Good.
Just got a different county assignment since I live up here. This is far from me.
Yeah.
Just stop on by.
Got it, we're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
See you later.
I gave one of my Does Lacey need to go to that May 15th?
Probably so, yeah, just show y'all's involvement, and we need to do a better job on goals. I mean, I knew we had, but